Let me guess, you haven't looked at the sky in days. Don't feel bad. Most people only look up if it looks good in a selfie. Picture this. You wake up, open your window, and the sky is still black. Not storm black. Not eclipse black. I'm talking someone unplugged the sun black. And here's the punchline. This actually happened. Earth, year 536. The year the world forgot how to turn the lights back on. And before you get too comfortable, this wasn't a one-time glitch. It can happen. Again. Let's find out who screwed up the sky. Look outside right now. Seriously. Do it. Now imagine it stays exactly like that. Tomorrow. And the day after. And the week after. How long before you start blaming your neighbors? Or your government? Or your God? Humanity didn't get that luxury. In 536, the light simply didn't show up, and the world started breaking. So here's the deal. For the next few minutes, I'll walk you through the best forensic evidence we have. Ice that remembers better than historians ever could. Trees that recorded their own death sentence, and ancient witnesses who described the sky like it had a terminal illness. No myths, no mystical nonsense, just reality, stripped down to bone. Let's start with a man who didn't have the time or creativity to lie. Procopius of Caesarea. Byzantine historian, bureaucrat, the human equivalent of unbuttered toast. He wrote on the record this charming sentence. For nearly a whole year, the sun gave forth its light without brightness, like the moon. Translation? Daylight showed up with the enthusiasm of a depressed candle. And before you ask, no, this wasn't an eclipse. Those only last minutes. Not whatever this was. Now, trees don't exaggerate. They don't get poetic, political, or dramatic, which already makes them more reliable than most people. Cut to the evidence. A core pulled from an alpine pine shows the ring for 536, so thin, it looks like the tree tried to skip the year entirely. No growth, no strength, just a biological, I give up. Imagine being so miserable you stop growing. Humans call it adulthood. Trees call it 536. Trees need light to function. Take away the sunlight and photosynthesis face plants into the dirt. In 536, the sky dimmed so much, the entire northern hemisphere basically got shoved inside a refrigerator. Forests didn't just struggle, they stalled. Froze. Imagine a global engine running out of fuel and coughing in slow motion. And if you think trees are the most dramatic thing in this story, you clearly haven't met the ice. Greenland's ice is basically the planet's black box recorder, and when scientists drilled into the layer for 536, they found a dark scar trapped inside the crystal. Ash. Sulfur. The chemical fingerprint of a volcanic punch straight to the stratosphere. Here's the fun part. It wasn't a little burp. It was a planet-wide curtain of ash so thick it dimmed the world. Volcanoes. Nature's way of reminding you that Earth does not care about your plans. And because Earth loves consistency, the same scar shows up in Antarctica, opposite side of the planet. Same volcanic signature. You know what that means. Whatever exploded wasn't local. It wrapped the whole globe like a funeral shroud. And here's the annoying part. We still don't know which volcano did it, because the chemical pattern doesn't match anything we've ever recorded. A crime scene with a weapon we can't identify. Perfect. Let's talk sulfur isotopes. I know, sounds about as exciting as watching wet paint discuss philosophy. But the details matter. See, real eruptions leave predictable signatures like a volcano's handwriting. And the 536 signature? It's wrong. Doesn't match Iceland, doesn't match East Asia, doesn't match anything we've cataloged. Imagine catching a murderer, and the fingerprints aren't in any database on Earth. That's what scientists got in 536. And everyone pretended to be calm about it, because nothing says we're confident, like quietly rewriting the geology textbooks. Now let's move to the human cost, because when the sun goes on sick leave, crops don't take it well. In Ireland, monks wrote the simplest, saddest sentence imaginable. The bread failed. Translation: famine handed the island a beating it wouldn't forget. If you want to know how fast a society collapses, don't look at its politics. Look at its food supply. Hunger makes everyone honest and desperate. If your supermarket closes tomorrow, how many hours will pass before you look at your cat with strange ideas? Across the planet, China recorded something even worse. Snow. In summer. Imagine stepping outside in July, and the world looks like someone dropped a giant bag of flour from the sky. People started eating whatever they could find. Clay. Roots. Things that technically fall under the category of absolutely not food. When nature starves you, dignity is the first thing to go. Meanwhile, in Constantinople, summers turned to freezer mode. Fields stopped producing. Harvests betrayed the people who depended on them. Governments panicked quietly. And when governments panic quietly, bad things happen loudly. The Byzantine Empire didn't crumble because of some dramatic invasion. It cracked because the sun forgot to show up to work. A cosmic sick day took down a civilization. First suspect on the list is Iceland. A volcano up there roared the same year, sending ash across the North Atlantic like nature was shaking a dirty blanket. It darkened Europe, poisoned the air, and pretty much said, "You thought winter was bad before? Hold my magma." Icelandic volcanoes have the same personality traits as bad exes. They never explode at a convenient time. Second suspect, a beast in Central America. Ilopango, an eruption so violent it buried whole regions under ash, thicker than your patience for bad documentaries. But here's the issue. It came years too late to be the first punch in 536. If this was a boxing match, Ilopango didn't throw the opening hit. It just made sure the losing opponent stayed on the floor. And now the fun part. The one scientists hate talking about. The ghost. A massive eruption, somewhere near the equator, with a chemical fingerprint that matches nothing we know. No crater we can identify. No cone. No ruins. No survivors. No mythology. Just a scar in the ice and a world left in the dark. Imagine a murderer so good, not even the crime scene survives. That's the ghost volcano. And yes, that should worry you. 5 years after the dimming, the world got a second gift. Plague. A mass die-off so severe, it made entire cities shut down. Why? Simple. Cold fields mean empty barns. Empty barns mean rats move in. Rats bring fleas. And fleas bring endings. Civilization really is one bad summer away from falling apart, or in this case, one missing sun. Irish monks also wrote about a star shining in daylight, something no one could explain. Now, before you jump to aliens or divine parking lights, take a breath. What they saw was the volcanic plume itself, a tower of fire punching through the darkness like someone stabbing the sky. Nature doesn't need to be supernatural to scare you, it just needs to be big. So let's recap. Greenland screams eruption. Antarctica screams back, same eruption. But the mountain responsible? Missing. This isn't like losing your car keys. We're talking about the kind of blast that dimmed the sun. A geological monster. A whole skyscraper of molten rock. Gone. Scientists call it a missing source, which is adorable. If your house explodes and the police can't find debris, you don't call it a missing source. You call it a problem. Here's where it gets worse. The 536 event wasn't a one-off. Centuries later, the world chilled again. Same pattern, different century. Massive cooling, crop failures, civilizations limping. The planet behaves like someone who keeps reliving the same trauma. Different triggers, same response. You'd think Earth would talk to a therapist, or at least stop bottling things up until something explodes. Could it happen again? Short answer, absolutely. Long answer, absolutely. And you won't get a warning. The list of volcanoes capable of dimming the sun again is not long, but it's ugly. Yellowstone, Taupo, Campi Flegrei, and a few underwater giants that make the ghost volcano look like a warm-up. But don't worry, odds are low, until they're not. And when the sky goes dark again, it won't ask for your permission. If the sun dimmed for a year now, society wouldn't just stumble, it would break. No agriculture, no trade, no stable governments. And no, your Wi-Fi wouldn't survive. Tragedy, I know. Supermarkets empty in days. Oil becomes useless. Power grids fold like cheap lawn chairs. And if you think people get violent over Black Friday discounts, wait until the sky forgets to show up. You want the real horror? It's not famine or plague, it's the human brain. We're not built for endless darkness. Your sleep cycle panics, your hormones quit, your sense of time dissolves. After a few months, the average person turns into a sleep-deprived raccoon with anger issues. And that's just normal people. Imagine the ones who already think the moon landing was faked. So, what did cause 536? You've heard the facts, you've seen the scars, you've met the suspects, and you're still left with a planet-wide whodunit where the killer erased the crime scene. Maybe that's the real reason this event scares scientists, not because it happened, but because no one can guarantee it won't happen again tomorrow. Everything you've heard comes from sources older than your country and colder than your fridge. I put the references below. Go check them. Trust me, I expect you to. Now, answer me something. If the sun vanished for a year and a half, what's the one object you'd grab before the world goes quiet? Think carefully. Your flashlight won't help when the sky itself decides to clock out. And if you learned something today, good for you. If you want more, you know what button to press. I'm not your babysitter.